Hi! I'm so excited to be here. So I'm jumping on now because I'm always about a minute or so behind you guys. So hopefully right at 8 o'clock you will be seeing this. But I am going to ramble for a little bit while people get in, and I see all of you guys that are already in. Said hi to you on the comments. So I debated whether to do this as a hangout today, and I decided maybe with the first one not to, just to see how it goes. But maybe next week we'll give it a shot to do a hangout. My only fear is I want to make these public, so probably the hangout part would only be for my tribe unless somebody kind of jumps in and says they want to be on the next one, mostly because we kind of saw the last time the problems that we have if people don't mute themselves, like during the meditations, and then it keeps going to their microphone. So hi guys. I'm really glad you're here. I know it's only been about a month, but it seems like forever. And I don't know about, I've been kind of checking with, there's some astrology Facebook groups that I check on regularly, and apparently it's not just me, but a lot of people have just been, I've been super lazy. Not just lazy, but like exhausted. And when I feel like that, I know as much as I want to get stuff done, that if I don't slow down when I feel like that, I tend to get sick. And I have a 4-year-old and I can't get sick. So luckily I was kind of at a place where I could not do anything for a while because I wasn't doing these, and I kind of had some videos that I'd done that were ready to go. So I really, other than like one day a week, maybe like a little, my parents take my son overnight. So usually the day that my parents would take him overnight, I do some catch up stuff, but I took like really 2 weeks off. And then all of a sudden, once the energy kind of started clearing, I got stuff done that I thought was going to take me all month to do. And Rock Above Love, I see you in there, and I know you, and your name is not, I know I'm going to be embarrassed when you tell me your name, but because I know you well. So just remind me of your name, because there's a few people with their usernames. For some reason, their usernames don't click in my head as to what their actual names are. So, yeah, I think I know who it is, but yeah, tell me just so I don't guess wrong. But yeah, so once the energy sort of started clearing, I sat down. I had recorded all of the meditations. Sam, that's what I thought. I thought it was Samantha. But I wanted to just make sure. Hi, Sam. I'm gonna start writing down names. So everybody who said they wanted a reading, hi Kimberly. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad some of my peeps that haven't been around for a while are back for this one. I think it's going to be a really fun one. So yeah, so I had recorded all of the meditations for the Sacred Space workshop. I had re-recorded them all in a whisper, and I had recorded them a while ago, but hi Guy. I know most of you guys know I hate audio editing. And you know, I'm trying to be self-sufficient. I'm trying to do all this stuff on my own. And so I did do the audio editing, but the last batch, there's a few of you who have offered to help me, and I was just thinking, I don't know why I didn't take them up on the offer, because I really hate it. And I had to listen, like there were a couple tracks I had to listen to twice because I hate it so much. I try to do other things. Like I'll often try to do other things while I'm listening to my audio, which I I can't do that because then I miss stuff that I need to edit out. And yes, I already have you down, Sarah, as someone to get a reading because I saw that you were one of the ones on Facebook who said you were going to be here. So I have you down. So I just sat down and like in an afternoon, finished that, and not only finished it, but got it published up as a CD. So the CD isn't up yet because I'm waiting for the hard copy. I always just like to look at the hard copy. I know, Tom, you've offered, and I know V has too, and I really may take you up on that offer because I really hate it. And what I end up doing, and this is kind of me, and you guys kind of know this at this point, I end up putting out not as good quality because I don't want to just stop myself from putting anything out. So now what I'm trying to, yeah, I got you down, Sam. Now what I'm trying to do is revisit, I have about, I don't know if you guys know, but I have about 10 CDs out. They're not all out on MP3 anymore because the company I used to work with just stopped carrying MP3s. MP3s are really much better, but I know there are some people who streaming doesn't work well for them, so they like the fact that they can get these CDs. But some of them, honestly, were not put out with the best audio quality because I didn't know how to fix it and I didn't know who to ask to help to fix it. So now I'm trying to revisit all of those. For those of you who are into astrology, this is Mercury retrograde, which freaks a lot of people out. I love Mercury retrograde. Hi, Kate. I'm so glad you're here. I've been kind of rambling, waiting for you to get into. So I love Mercury retrograde because I do kind of push out so many things often probably before they're ready to go. I'm a perfectionist, which sounds kind of funny with what I just said, but I'm a perfectionist, and so I know if I actually try to be a perfectionist, I will never put anything out. I would never have put a video out ever. And so what I try to do is I try to just like create something and then put it out there before I can talk myself out of it. And then I go back to it. I'm like, okay, this is crap. I either need to fix this or it really just needs to be destroyed because it's crap. But I have to go back to it after it's not so painful to decide it's crap. Or again, I just never create anything. So I try not to do that. Also, let me know how the audio is on this. I am using the Blue Yeti, which I don't always do. I sometimes use the webcam. So let me know if it sounds okay with the Blue Yeti. I'm actually, yeah, it's not facing me as much as it should be. So I put that out. I'm reworking the audio on some other ones. So the Sacred Space CD is, if most of you guys saw it probably on Facebook, it's free on Spotify. So it is out on MP3 yet, but I'm waiting to listen to the hard copy and just look at the actual CD case and make sure everything looks okay before it's available on CD. But it's out on Spotify. The other ones that I've edited, so there's a Whisper Ritual. Good. Thank you, Tom. There's a Whisper Ritual CD that's also on Spotify. And then one of the Baron CDs, the Cleansing, 3, no, I think it's 4 for the Cleansing. That's also on Spotify. So if any of you guys are interested. Oh, and I don't know if you remember the old Balinese massage I did. I can't really fix the audio on that one. It's not too bad. But some people really like that one. It's like an hour long, just one massage. So so that's on there too, if you guys are interested. So I got that done really fast. All of a sudden, it's good. Thank you, Katie. Glad to know the audio sounds okay. And then I got my mom to edit. My mom was a language arts teacher, so she's a good editor. But because she's my mom, I can't say, can you do this week? I have to just kind of wait till my mom gets around to it because she's doing me a favor. So she edited the Sacred Space book and the Shadow book. So I reworked the Sacred Space book, and then that is up now. I'm glad you like those old videos. They're fun. So yeah, so Sacred Space is now up. For any of you guys who want it, I know most of you have the PDF version anyway because you were in the workshop. But if any of you want it on Kindle, Sacred Space is going to be free Friday to Saturday midnight US time. Mama McFreak, that's me. So if you guys want it, you can grab it for free on Kindle. And yeah, I think all of the written meditations were in there with the PDF I sent you. I'm now writing up all of the meditations for the Destiny workshop. So Sacred Space, if you're looking for it, is now called the Sacred Space Guidebook. Explore Your Inner Temple. And the Shadow Work Guidebook is actually selling. I mean, again, it's not massive, but it's like one a day. And I'm so excited. And then you guys know, like I made that one free. I'll make that one free again as soon as they let me. They only let me do it every couple of months. And 350 people got it. So it's awesome. I'm also on Goodreads. For those of you who are readers, if you're not on Goodreads, it's awesome because you get a lot of suggestions and there's groups on there. So I know there are other websites like that, but I'm really liking Goodreads, and you can kind of update what you're reading and connect with people. So I'm on there if you want to look for me. So I think that's enough rambling. I think I've given people enough time to all get in here. I think most of the people who are going to be in tonight are probably in. If you are watching and I don't know you, please introduce yourself. We would love to know who you are. And we are here to talk about passion. So that's really exciting. And I really want this, I don't want to look at this one as much as of a workshop as a journey, because this is going to mean something different to absolutely everyone. So it's not like create space where, sacred space where I'm kind of giving you some things to do. This is going to be more of an exploration for yourself, which they all are. But so I'm not going to be giving a lot of advice. I'm going to be more talking about sort of my journey with passion. And you'll get more written material in the Facebook group and care of our friend. So passion. I want to talk about passion because it has changed a lot for me over the past year. So I'm going to tell you about my journey so far, and my journey I know is not over, and I'm sure will change a lot just through this workshop. So passion for me used to really mean excitement. So I get kind of hooked on that excitement of a new project, excitement of something I'm thinking about doing. Many of you know me kind of well enough at this point to know that I'm often I'm up in the ether a lot. So I think a lot and I fantasize a lot about things. I also have some anxiety issues, and as many of us do, I thought race. So my thought racing can sometimes be a fun thing where I fantasize about something new that I want to have happen. So like when I started doing YouTube, I had all of these ideas in my mind about what was going to happen on YouTube. And I knew some of it was unrealistic. And sometimes I use that just to fuel myself to keep going. But one of the things that I have found is that when I get really obsessed with the excitement, first of all, excitement like that doesn't last. So for those of you who know, like starting a new job, you're really excited about the new job in the beginning, and you're probably really anxious about it, and you're thinking of it. If you thought race like I do, you're running through every possible scenario, and even for the first few months, you're running through every possible scenario of what can happen at this job and how awesome this job is going to be. And by 6 months in, the job's kind of old hat. It doesn't mean you don't like it. You might still love the job, but it's old hat. It's not really exciting anymore. Parts of it maybe, but going in every day is not exciting. And I can often, in some ways, those fantasies, I don't have a lot of addictions. I definitely could have at certain points in my life. And I, for those of you who don't know, I worked in addictions for 7 years as a social worker. And that was my specialty, because I did substance abuse work. And there for the Grayscale eye, I thought many, many times, is that I was lucky not to have gone down that road. I think most of us, if at a certain point in our life we found our drug of choice, that would be it. My clients used to always say, let me shoot you up with heroin 3 times and you'll be done. I don't know if heroin would have been my drug of choice by any means, but I know I could have found one. So, and as a result, I don't use at all, and I stopped using a long time ago, anything. Although I do drink now. I didn't drink when I was working in substance abuse, just because I did. So, but back to the passion and why I was saying that my addiction is chasing that excitement. So I have a very hard time following through with certain things because I'm constantly chasing that new fantasy idea of what is going to be amazing and exciting and all these things are going to happen. And generally in life, things don't work that way, at least not for me. The things that have happened in my life, and I've had a lot of wonderful things happen in my life, have taken a long time to happen and have taken a lot of work. So, I got a graduate school degree. Graduate school is a really good example of sort of how everything works in my life. There's like a 2-year learning period for me with anything new. And if I go in thinking that within 2 months, my whole life is going to change because of this exciting new thing, which is what I tend to go in with all of these fantasies of what's going to happen, I am very quickly disappointed. And I either find that I like what I'm doing enough to be able to continue for the 2 years, that it's going to take me to get any kind of expertise, or I drop it. So when I started doing this on YouTube, it was kind of funny because in trying to start my own business, there were a lot of things that I didn't have to create because I've had them from trying to start businesses a long time ago. So I had a blog. I actually had a couple of blogs. I had Fiverr accounts. I had Etsy, like just enough because I toyed with these things in the past, but I'd never found exactly what worked for me. So I would pick it up, and then when it wouldn't be life-changing immediately, I would drop it because I was never blogging. I hate to write. It's funny because I've written a couple of books. That has changed for me. There are certain things I do like to write. Blogs are hard for me. I do have one now, but I have found a little niche. I like writing about tarot, so I do that sometimes. But just kind of writing about me, I don't like. I like doing this video version, but I didn't know that a long time ago. And even in my early videos, I didn't talk about me. I didn't do workshops. I didn't do anything like that. So I would chase this excitement. And over the past year, I've finally come to the realization that passion for me has to be about what is happening in my life right now. It has to be more about the present because I can easily miss the wonderful things that I am passionate about that are already in my life because I am so focused on the exciting fantasies that I think will be in the future. So I am not saying that that's the same for you. That may not be what passion is for you at all. And that may not be what passion is for me in 2 months when this workshop is over. But that is what I have found. And that is what I am still working on. I fall into those fantasies very, very easily. And I have to pull myself back because I'll be laying in the hammock. There's been a lot of hammock time in the 2 weeks I kind of took off. When my son wasn't around, I was in the hammock. Which feels tremendously indulgent to me, except I would meditate when I was in the hammock. But I would have to pull myself back from these fantasies of, all these things that could happen in my life. And I'm thinking, I am here in the middle of a weekday, laying in a hammock in beautiful weather, I have a little bit of alone time, like, and I'm fantasizing about how my life would be better. Like, I'm missing out on a really, I mean, there are a lot of people who Thursdays are one of my days off. And I work part-time. I don't work full-time. So I am usually done with my day by noon or 1, depending on how early I start in the morning. So Thursday afternoon, I'm down by the river with my son on a 90-degree day. And I find myself being pulled to a fantasy, and I'm thinking, how ridiculous is this? It's the middle of a weekday on what, you know, we did this on Saturday too. It was a work day for me. So I had worked all morning and I still spent my afternoon at the river. Beautiful day. What a waste that I would spend some of that time fantasizing about something else. I need to see the passion in every day, because I do have, it's very rare that I don't have some part of the day that is wonderful, where I get to sit in meditation, or I get to spend some time with my family, or I get, you know, not every day, all day, of course, but there are those moments, and I don't want to miss them. So I'm really working on, it's a work in progress. Again, every day I'm pulled back from these fantasies. But so that's what passion is for me. And I don't know what it will be for you, but it will probably change over time. And there's not a one answer as to what that is. So we will be exploring that for about 2 months with all different kinds of meditations and written material in the Facebook group. Sam, I will add you. I think everybody else is already in the Facebook group. Sam, you may already be too, but if not, I will add you. So that's what we will be doing for the next 2 months, and I think it'll be very exciting. And with that, I am going to pretty quickly jump into our meditation. One thing I have been thinking about is, especially because I'm doing these books now, I'm trying to think about how I could do ASMR for people on a larger scale. So I'm going to try something a little bit different with the relaxation part. So I'm not going to do the massage to the 4 corners. I'm going to do the relaxation part more as part of the meditation. And we'll see how that goes. Just wanted to change it up a little bit. Again, things are too much the same all the time. I stagnate and I get bored, and then I don't want to do it. So, so I think it's fun to change it up, and I hope you guys do too. So we're going to start off with a smudge, because I need some Palo Santo. My matches have been terrible lately, and I can't light anything. But here, we'll get some Palo Santo, guy. For those of you, everybody in here right now is, I'm sure, familiar with Palo Santo from other videos with me. But if you are not, go out. If you are not, a little bit of smoke, and you're watching this later, and you're not one of the people currently on here. Okay, good. I'm good. I'm glad you're in there, Samantha. I thought I put you in. If you're not familiar with Palo Santo, it is my favorite smudge. I like the smell much better than sage. Sage is wonderful. Sage is good. Sage smells like pot to me. I don't like the smell of it in my house. I remember as a kid telling many a parent that we were burning sage, and it brings them back that feeling for me, that idea of burning sage as a cover-up for pot, or actually burning pot and saying that it was sage. So it's the Palo Santo smells more like a church. I don't know. For some people, that's going to have a bad connotation. For me, it doesn't. It's because my immediate family was not terribly religious, so I only went to a church when I wanted to go to a church. So, and I went to synagogue as much as church. So, But Palo Santo's, I really do think Palo Santo helps with health, and I don't know if it's the intention set when I burn it, is that I'm going to feel healthier or I'm going to avoid getting sick. But I swear when I burn it, I don't get as sick or I get better. And when I don't, and it's cold season, we get sick. So I'm a true believer in placebos. They've done studies on it. Even when you know it's a placebo, sometimes it works. So I'm just going to say that. I'm going to do another disclaimer. So for people who have not been in my workshops before and are maybe watching this later, because I know all of you guys have, I am not supporting, I am not discrediting any spiritual belief. You can believe whatever you want and still follow with the meditations. When I talk about guides, you may not believe in guides. You may believe it's God. You may believe it's part of your brain. I am a skeptic at heart. I think because I am so up in the ether, I have grabbed onto thoughts to anchor me. And so I read a lot of studies. I like science. But there's part of me that experiences something different than what science can explain. So I am not ruling out that could be part of my brain. Who knows? We don't understand. I mean, that's one thing I learned in social work and studying psychology is we don't know jack about the brain. We don't know anything about the brain. And when we do think we know something about the brain, we find out that what we knew was totally wrong. My social work school, I mean, basically what I left social work school with is it's the most important thing, more than any technique you learn in psychology, the most important thing is your relationship with the other person. So whether you have a connection with that person, that's what affects their treatment much more than all of the cognitive behavioral therapy, the Gestalt therapy, the Freudian psychotherapy, all that. What matters much more is if you happen to have a connection with that person. So I attempted to be an authentic person when I met with people, and that was my biggest goal. And if they connected with me, they connected with me. And if they didn't, then we weren't the right fit as a therapist. So the reason I say that is because there are a lot of things that I would learn in social work school. Very quick example is I learned critical incident stress debriefing when I was working as an employee assistance counselor. And so this is when something horrible happened, you went in and you talked about it and you talked about it and you talked about it in a group. And there was part of me that always thought that was a terrible idea. And so I kind of did I would sort of go in and be like, hi, I'm here if you need to talk. I wouldn't force people to talk. And now they found that it's really a terrible way to deal with stress and with PTSD. And it's better if you take time to process it on your own and then you talk about it later. And you take time and you journal it on your own and all of this stuff. So I have always found that I really do believe we know so very, very little about the brain. Which is kind of scary because we act like we know about the brain. But one thing I have found is that meditation really helps to change my brain, and I think it is a safe way to do that. And that is why I'm going to do this meditation with you tonight. But go with whatever you get. Again, even if it comes from your brain, it's a part of your brain that you're not able to tap into with your rational thought. And if you believe it's from outside of your brain, you are perfectly welcome to do that too. I am not ruling anything out. I did not think about getting a PhD because at the time I wanted to do direct therapy with people. And with a PhD, you don't do direct therapy. You teach or you write books. It's very rare that and I was in social work school. I wasn't in clinical psych. You work doing research. and I didn't want to. I wanted to work directly with people. So there was no reason to get a PhD at the time, because you didn't do individual therapy or group therapy when you had a PhD. You did research. So, and honestly, if you have a psychology degree, you can often do research without a PhD. Social work, it's very hard to get a job doing research unless you have a PhD. So yeah, so that's why I didn't get a PhD. So, although I do love, and again, that's another thing where the idea of doing research sounds so interesting to me. The reality of actually sitting down with somebody and having them fill out what you, like the questionnaires you have people fill out for psychology research, the reality of that, I think, would be so tremendously boring. Because you're not getting to actually help anybody. You're getting information so that somebody else can help somebody. Most of the time. So, all right, there's ramble. All right, let's do a meditation. Okay, I need it too. All right, so I want you guys to get comfortable. Take a deep breath in. Close your eyes. And I want you to picture and see and feel the energies from above raining down on your head. For me, the energies of above are a midnight blue, black, like a new moon, starry night. But it may be different for you. That's the source energy from above for me. And I want you to feel it rain down on your head and go over your hair. And as it rains down on you, it relaxes your scalp muscles and the muscles on the back of your neck. Relaxes your face as it runs down your face, your forehead, your jaw, your eyes, your throat. And it continues to rain down and relaxes your shoulders, relaxes your arms and your hands. It slides down your body and relaxes your chest and your back, relaxes your stomach and your hips. It relaxes your legs, relaxes your calves and your knees, all the way down to your feet. And your body, as it's cradled by this source energy from above, your body is relaxed with each touch of the energy. And now this energy starts to pour into your body from your crown chakra on the top of your head. And it fills your body like an empty vessel. And now I want you to also feel the source energy from below, from the earth, which I see as a white light, come up through your root chakra at your tailbone. And it also fills your body. So your body is now filled with this source energy from below and the source energy from above. And your body is lit up with this energy. The energy begins to coalesce at the heart, right in the center of your chest. And it becomes a bright, glowing sphere. Energy is all made of love. And this sphere at your heart chakra is also made of love. And it grows and grows and fills with this energy from Source until it floats out from your body to about a foot in front of you. And it's almost like a glowing crystal ball of love that is in front of you, just floating, filled with Source energy and with your love. And I want you to look into this crystal ball. And when you look into this ball, you see how your love mixed with the love from Source energy can manifest into the world. So what is the physical form of this love? Is it a relationship or many? Is it a project? You can see it as if it were a crystal ball and you're peering in to watch what the energies are telling you, or it may be projected out of this sphere like a movie in front of you. Or it may just be a feeling. It may not be clear to you yet what the physical form will be, but you may be given the feeling of what this passion and love can be for you. It may be a color. It may be a thought. You may hear it in words as if this sphere is speaking to you. Take whatever you get. You may also ask questions of the sphere and see if it can answer you. I want you to ask any further questions you may have. The sphere may answer in pictures or thoughts or feelings. And when you feel ready, I want you to place your hands under the sphere and gently push it up into the sky, and it raises like a helium balloon, ready to share that love and setting your intention with the energies. To manifest this love in the world. And I want you to begin to return to your physical body. Hear the sounds around you. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you feel ready, open your eyes. And welcome back. And if you have something to eat or drink, that will help return you to your body. If I can get some lotion out, I will also do a hand massage to help return you to your body. So just Circling the energy between all of us that are here. And your other hand. And take a few more deep breaths just to ground you. If it's helpful for you, you can see that source energy that has been in your body and send it down into the earth like roots. Or for me, what helps is to picture my body with my feet planted firmly in the ground from about ankle down. And returning to where we are now. So let me just go through the comments. Tom, Miss Rose has been around long before PhDs, so I doubt it. Her knowledge has been passed down for many generations. Yeah. PhDs are interesting, considering my husband has one. Academia is interesting. We've been talking about it a lot lately. And it's an interesting field. We'll see how things go in that field. Something's probably going to change. At least in my son's generation, I have a feeling it is. It's kind of unsustainable the way it is right now, but we'll see. Yeah, because Robin, you do research, right? I think you do research of some sort. You do science, right? That's what I thought. But I could be making that up. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. The minute you tell me, I will be like, oh yeah, okay. I don't know the Jose Silva method. I think I actually do. I think it's I think I know a little bit about it. I've talked to some people about it, about using meditation for, and I'm drawing a blank on what it's called, but using meditation for therapy. This is not that. Although I have looked a little bit into it. I started doing this before I found out about that, and this is just what works for me. I'm not using it as therapy for anyone, but I'm glad you guys liked it. I hope that was useful for you guys. It is one of the things I've been trying to do is when I feel stuck as to what I should work on next, I try to think of how can I send my love out into the world? And it's one of the reasons you guys will notice, and I've been doing this for the past few months, I am a social worker at heart in the true sense. I love finding resources for people that help them. Oh, how interesting. Sorry, Robin, sorry guys, I'm reading Robin's comment. Bioanthropology. I wanted to get my master's in anthropology, and I actually applied, and one of my professors didn't get my recommendation letter in on time, and I'm so glad she didn't, because I didn't want to do research or work in a museum. I bet reading about it is really interesting. But again, I didn't want to do research because the actual reality of doing the research, I think, would bore me to tears. But reading about it, I think, would be fascinating. My husband is an ethnomusicologist, so you probably know what that is, Robin. So he presents at a lot of anthropology conferences. It's like if anthropology and musicology just smashed together. So he does a lot with anthropology, and it's so fascinating. But the reality of what the jobs are was not. Yeah, and I loved school when I was in school, but as many of you probably know, and I think many of you are in the same situation, when you have anxiety issues, school is a really hard place to be, because there's always something you should be working on. You are never done unless the semester's over. So it's 3.5 months of every time you sit down, but oh my God, I really should be working on this. It was, yeah. So I did it and it was fine and I had wonderful school years, but it was like 6 years of constant anxiety that I should be working on stuff when I wasn't doing something, or when I was taking a break. But yeah, so that's that. So I'm glad you guys liked it. Oh, so I was saying, one of the things that I have been doing is I do a lot of research for myself. Like, what are the things that are helping me? So I listen to a lot on YouTube. I actually, you guys heard me a lot last year complaining about my job, and I've actually really come to terms with my job. First of all, I've set boundaries at my job, and I was always really afraid to set boundaries at my job, thinking I would get fired. And not only have I not gotten fired, but they've just gotten off my case. It's almost like, oh, our bullying's not working. Okay, let's move on to somebody else who the bullying's going to work on, which has been wonderful. But it does mean I'm doing kind of menial tasks, but it means I have about 4 hours when I can listen to YouTube. So what I do, and I can listen to other things too, like I'm working on my social work CEUs, listening to a lot of it while I'm working, as I'm keeping my social work license up, because it's such a pain in the butt to get a social work license in a state that I'm not going to give up my social work license and then have to redo it if I ever decide to work in the field again. Plus, I like having a license. So I have, if you guys are on my Twitter feed, you see that when I watch something that I think is great, I put it on Twitter. So I'm trying to share all of the great resources that I find. I'm trying to share with you guys. So I am using, that was one of the most important things for me in social work, is I didn't want to just talk about somebody's mother. I wanted to talk about, like, what is your situation right now and what can we do? We can talk about your history and your trauma history and what's going on, but we also, like, one of the things I found in substance abuse is, it's not always talking about trauma. It's how do you live your life now that you're sober? Like, how do you find interests? How do you reduce your stress? What are the things in your life? Who are the people you're spending your time with? What are you doing? So finding resources for people was really, really important. So I'm trying to share that with everybody. So that's kind of what's been going on with me. Sorry, I'm rambling so much. Let's see. I'm reading. You know what? It's great that I didn't get my anthropology degree, Robin. It was kind of like, many of you are young, so you probably have similar situations. I had a bachelor's degree and I was working at Kinko's. For those of you in the UK, and actually in the US, there aren't many. I was working at a copy center. I don't know if you have Kinko's in the US, in the UK and other countries. So I had a 4-year degree and was working at Kinko's. And then I started working in a residential facility for children. I had been working in a battered women's shelter, volunteering prior to that. And so I had the idea that I thought I wanted to do something like that. I went and worked in this residential doing direct care. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was horrible. I think I told you this. I don't know if you guys have ever been in this position. It's a horrible position, and you usually don't. Sarah, don't worry, I'm old too. Have you ever had a job? Okay, this is something you look back and you're like, oh my God, why did I do that? If you ever had a job where the job was so bad on the drive to work, you kind of wished you'd get in a little fender bender so you wouldn't have to go in. I remember driving the snow to this place thinking, first of all, it's a snowstorm. So it means the next shift's probably not going to be able to get in, which means I'm going to be doing a 24-hour shift because they have to have people there and you can't go home. I'm going to be doing a 24-hour shift with these 14 kids who know it's very difficult for me to take some of them down into restraint because that's what we were doing. There was one boy my size, and he knew I had a hell of a time, and when I would take him down into restraint, some of the other kids would run, so they would break out. And it was often me with these 14 kids. And I was thinking, if I just gotten a little fender bender, or nobody really got hurt, but I couldn't get into work, then, who could get mad at me for showing up to work? So I think back on that now, because I was, 22? Yeah, I was 22 at the time, I think. And I just think, God, with the stuff you put up with when you're a kid and you're trying to get a job and you're trying to do stuff. Because I have a friend who I do massages for right now, and she's in this job where it's a terrible job and she hates it, but she just, she's got a degree and it's in her field and she thinks she's got to do it, and she's just decided to finally quit. Actually, she quit 2 days ago, was her last day, so I have to drink a glass of champagne in her honor. Okay, so I'm going to start reading. So I'm just going to, oh, I know. And I used to do summer school, Amber, every year because I just wanted to get my credits done. Yeah, well, Robin, I was the same. I would do summer. I mean, I'm also very driven, so I would do summer school too. But yeah, it's stressful. Okay, so I'm gonna start pulling cards so that we're not here all the rest of the night. All right, I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna just kind of go through my list. If you did not RSVP on the Facebook page, or you haven't asked for one, it's called Blighty. Oh, yeah, got it. Yeah, it's the stuff that I look back and I'm like, oh my God. When I used to run residential facilities for substance abuse, it was the same kind of thing. I was on 24-hour beeper. I would get beeped all the time. And I would get beeped for stuff like so-and-so's got a razor blade in their shoe, and they're threatening people on the unit, and should we call the police? And I mean, that was serious stuff. That's why when they get all stressed out at my job right now, I'm like, I'm doing accounting. I'm doing accounting for hospitality. Like, honestly, in the realm of things, it's not that important. Okay, so back to reading. So I'm going to start off with Brittany because she asked for one. I know she's not here, but she's on the top of my list. So this is your card. I'm just going to do one card readings because we have a bunch of you today. But I think I'll do some of the oracle cards next time. So this is your card starting off the Passion Project. Hopefully it will give you some ideas. So this is the Ten of Swords, the Lord of Ruins. And again, I always say, energy is not going to tell us horrible things are going to happen to you. Ha, 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 ha. So they're telling you to watch out for something. For this card, what this means to me is for you is, Brittany, you may have kind of hit the bottom and it's going to go up from this point. So bottoming out is kind of the meaning of that card. It's kind of no longer being a victim and sort of like taking control of things because it's kind of as bad as it's going to get, at least for this situation. So I hope that means something to you. It is hope. It is things are going to get better. So this is for V, who also is not here. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Sarah. And it's hard because you hate to tell your kid, like, quit that job when they've just gotten a job, but you're just like, oh, God, it's so hard. Yeah, I didn't wear earrings for years because the kids would grab your earrings, pull out your earrings. It was a terrible job. But honestly, what got me to quit, I don't know if I've told you guys this story. You would assist kids in parking. So parking was what was like time out, and you'd watch the wall. And you would assist a kid in parking, which was basically grabbing them by the arms and kind of pushing them up against the wall. It was basically a threat. It was, I am bigger than you, stop goofing around, or I could hurt you. And I worked there 6 months, and in my 6th month, I assisted a kid in parking. I didn't hurt the kid. I was very careful. But it's a threat when you grab a kid and you push him up against the wall. It's all it is. And I quit the next day. The fact that I would do that, the fact that it had gotten me to the point where I would do that. Thank God. I mean, I can see where people do it. You've got 14 kids, and they're acting horrible a lot of the time. I mean, sometimes my kids were great, but sometimes they just, you know, that was the way they got attention. So this is for V, and this is the Two of Wands, the Lord of Dominion. So this is about being bold and taking your power and being original. And I know that has meaning for you, V. You are going to grab that power, and you are going to come up with something very original in your field. So, all right, Sophie, who is also not here. Sophie has the Four of Cups, the Lord of Blended Pleasure. So this is going within. It can be, you want to be careful that's not self-absorption, but I don't worry about that with you, Sophie. So I think it's maybe doing a little bit of soul searching. And I think that may be important for you, Sophie, because you are probably going right on to school again. But I think the summer may be a time for you to, sometimes when you're in school and you're in that sort of trajectory, going through school, you don't do a lot of the soul searching because you know where you're going next. But take some time to really do that soul searching and figure out, you know, school will be over someday. I know that's a scary thought. But what do you want? What do you really, really, really want at that point? So, Katie. So your card is the Nine of Wands, the Lord of Great Strength. So this is stamina. This is, Katie, you may have had a long road in certain areas, especially around your passion. And kind of getting to what you want in life, Katie. And I think that's somewhat true. It has not been an easy road. But you've had the stamina, and don't give up at this point because you're near the end. So I think that's very literally true for you within the next month, I assume. Okay, Kate. Princess of Wands, the Princess of the Shining Flame. So this is good, Kate. Be creative. Be enthusiastic. I think this has to do with your writing, obviously. Be courageous and be confident. So I think it is giving you permission to, you know, maybe do that shadow work and find that little kid that had that confidence. Usually there is some point in our life where we felt confident about those kind of things. It was just in the last 5 years I stopped having high school nightmares. I left high school 2 years early, as many of you know. And it was pretty much for the first 5 years while I was in college, I would have nightmares pretty regularly that they would make me go back to high school, like just for gym. I was not an athlete. Okay, Robin. Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is good. So Lord of the Root of the Power of Fire. So this is, it's the Ace. So it's starting something new. And it is starting something new fast. That's creative. That's probably a new project. So this is basically saying, that you may have a new, like through this process, what you've been thinking is your passion, you may have something new come up. That doesn't mean that, you know, you're going to ditch your, it may be like a new facet that becomes clear to you. I hope. Sorry, reading through. We haven't gotten many pentacles, have we? Not so far. Yeah, pentacle. It was all about pentacles. Maybe with passion, it's going to be about fire. Probably. I think we've gotten a few fires so far. Courage is good. Good. I hope it's true, Katie. I hope it's true. Do you really, Guy? Oh, gosh. I really, like, every once in a while one will pop up where, like, I'm late for, you know, I still have late for a test, but it's never college. College, I didn't have a problem with. Well, here's our pentacle. And this one is for Guy. Oh, Tom, I don't have you down here. Let me make sure you're down here. I want to make sure there's nobody else I'm forgetting. I don't think so. So Guy, you have 3 of Pentacles, Lord of Material Work. So this is about teamwork and planning. So I don't know if that makes sense for your current job. Competence, obviously, that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know if there's a teamwork thing involved in there. Oh, you missed high school? Ooh. You know, high school wasn't horrible for me, except, I don't know if you guys know, I met my husband in junior high. And my husband moved away after my freshman year of high school. And we did a long distance thing for many years. And like all my friends moved away after freshman year of high school. My best girlfriend went into a mental institution for a while. My husband moved away. Prior to that, his best friend, who was also a very good friend of mine, he also moved away. And yeah, another good girlfriend of mine started to go to a different high school. So I had friends, but my close friends were gone, and I just hated high school. I was the girl with the jean jacket. So this, I thought I was a genius. So I'd have my jean jacket that I wore every freaking day. I was an outbacker, which meant we hung out in the back. It was my only saving grace. All my friends smoked except for me and my husband. So they were the outbackers because they would smoke in the back. And somehow that made us tough. I don't know how it made us tough. It made us tough. We were also the druggies. Kind of. Although we weren't. And especially not in comparison to many other people in my school. But somehow that made me tough, and so I wasn't picked on or bullied as much because especially my guy friends were considered tough. But I would wear a jean jacket every day with this giant curly hair, like an afro. I had this like this, but when it's shorter, it's really curly, which is why I wear it up when it's shorter. And I would take a Walkman, which some of you younger people don't know what that is, but I would have my cassette player and I broke the headphones so I could put the headphone up the sleeve of my jacket and I could sit there and do that in class and listen to Talking Heads. Sorry, I'm a bad influence. Most of you guys have already graduated from high school or are in the process of doing it right now. So I'm not teaching anybody anything, but that was how I got through high school. And I did well in high school. I just didn't pay attention. I just did all the work at home. So, okay, I'm reading through. Robin, oh, yeah, see? There you go. Good. Got an Ace of Wands. It's a good one to have. Good. I'm glad that makes sense to you, Guy. I know a little bit about your work, but not a lot, so I don't know what's going on now. Congratulations, Kimberly. Are you really? Do you want to tell us what state you're going to be in? I won't ask more specific than that, but very cool. Yeah. Oh, hi, Smiling Observer. I don't know who you are. Just let me know your name and if you would like a reading. Well, I'm glad. I know a lot of people love high school. And I know, like, when I went off to college, all my friends were saying, like, but you're going to miss your junior and senior year of high school. And I was like, I hate high school. I haven't been joking when I've been saying I hate high school. I hate it. So it was too much wasted time for me, honestly. So, well, but graduate school was kind of, I liked graduate school. It was stressful, but I liked it. That's different, but high school is, whew, I don't know. Yeah, it's not school that I didn't like. I didn't like high school. So, okay, Sarah, you have the Nine of Cups, the Lord of Material Happiness. So this is wish fulfillment. This is almost as good as it gets. This is pleasure. This can be sensual pleasure, Sarah, but it can also just be kind of satisfaction. And this is just kind of getting what you want. So it's a good one. It's a very nice card. All right. Oh, you're going to Williams. I love Williams, and I love Massachusetts. My college was in Great Barrington, Massachusetts. Loved it. I lived in Boston for a long time. You will love it. It is cold, but it is beautiful. Williams College campus is so beautiful. Oh, congratulations. It's going to be fun, fun, fun. It's also just, it's a fun school. It's a real low-key, one of the sister schools. So that's great. Congrats. Good school. Oh, Miss Bree. Yes, I would love to do a reading for you. Let me know what I should call you so I don't have to call you by these weird usernames. Yeah, I'm so happy for everybody graduating. Okay, so this one is for Kimberly. Ten of Pentacles, Lord of Wealth. So this is affluence. We never pulled this one. Oh, you know what? I think, yeah, we never pulled this one. This is convention too. So this may have to do with school. It is, I don't know. It's not very conventional actually. Williams isn't very conventional, I wouldn't say. But it's about kind of getting what you want. So it tends to be affluence, permanence also. So maybe Massachusetts will be here to stay for a while. So I don't know. I don't know what that means in terms of your future. But interesting. Okay, Sam, I'm pulling one for you. Oh yeah, I mean my life would be completely different in high school now. I mean, I don't know. It was just it wasn't that I didn't have friends, and it wasn't that people were mean to me. I was bullied a little bit in junior high, but not in high school, because again I was scary. But I do not like having I am very impatient, and high school is a lot of walking around and waiting and being in lunch. And like, I had figured out my junior year how to only be there for about half the time and still get all my credits. And I had it worked out for senior year as well. I don't like wasting my time. And high school wastes your time quite a lot. So it's just, I'm persnickety like that. So, all right, Sarah, I don't know, you may have missed your reading. So if you missed your reading, go back and look, because I may have done a reading for you while you was feeding twins. Okay, Sam, this is for you. The Hanged Man. Hanged Man is a good card. I know sometimes looking at it, and if you don't know tarot, it can be scary. This is the spirit of the mighty waters. So Hanged Man is my card lately, and I'm happy to have Hanged Man. Hanged Man is about sitting back, not forcing things, and taking a new perspective. So this has been a really important card for me lately, because it's I am constantly like, okay, what's the next thing I need to do for my tribe, what's the next thing I need to do for my business? What's the next thing I need to do for my channel? And the hangman is really telling me, like, go with the flow a little bit more. You know, keep your eyes open, look for new things, and don't try to force it as much. Hang back. So what you need to know should come to you naturally by you keeping your eyes open. So I hope that makes sense, Sam. All right, Tom. And that was also a major arcana. So that means it's pretty important. Same with you. This is about the best card that you can get, Tom. So I hope that is the case. This is the Lord of the Fire of the World. So this is, now, sun really means getting what you want, but it is not going to come without hard work. So this may indicate your graduation. I know it has been hard work. So it's also enlightenment. It's also kind of what you've learned. That's what makes me think that it is your school. So that may really indicate kind of what, but it indicates a little bit more than that. It's not just like I'm hoping for you that the meaning is not just graduation, but that kind of good work in your field is on the way too, because it's not just a wish fulfillment card. It's kind of a culmination of a whole lot of things. So I'm glad that makes sense to you, Sam. Okay, Brielle, and I hope I'm saying your name right, Brielle. Also, for those of you who have jumped in here who are interested in being in the Facebook group, so Brielle, and Smiling Observer, if you want to let me know your name. You can, oh, you can't look it up. I will comment to me and I will let you know how I can get you in if you're interested. Okay, but this is for you, Brielle. King of Swords, Prince of the Chariots of the Winds. So this is the King of Swords can be a person in your life. I tend to not read it that way because when I read tarot, I don't see it as very predictive. I tend to see it as giving you information. So maybe if there's already a usually male person in your life who's very authoritative, father type person, it could refer to that, but I think since we're talking about passion, it's actually referring to you, and it may be referring to sort of your masculine side, which we all have. So this is about being just and ethical, and I always read the King of Swords as making sure that you are really thinking things through and that you are really sticking to your convictions. So the king is somebody who's very authoritative, who's very in charge, but the King of Wands, it's a lot about your values and what's important to you and making sure you stick to those. Amber. And Amber is the last one on my list. So if there's anyone else who wants one, make sure you let me know quick, because then I'm going to call it a night. So Amber, you have the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of the Throne of Waters. So I would say this is you. And this is someone who is loving and tender-hearted. This is when I think of me in the tarot, this is me, because it's somebody who is, it's also somebody who can be very distracted. So it's somebody who really cares about other people, but it's also somebody who can kind of be up in their fantasy world a little bit. So in terms of passion, this may mean for you, it's also very spiritual. This may mean for you that you may need to go into that spiritual world a little bit, maybe through redoing this meditation if something really clear didn't come to you. But that may be the way that you're going to find your passion through this process. I am so happy. If you jump in real quick and want a reading, I will do it, but otherwise I'm going to start wrapping up. I'm so happy to be doing these again. We will be back to Tuesdays next week. I think we are going to stick with 8 instead of 7:30. I am sorry, Tom. And we may lose Sophie as a result because it's just too late for a lot of you guys out in the UK. Thank you for those of you who stayed up. But we are going to keep talking about passion for 2 months, and we will do at least one hangout. If not, if I decide to try and do a hangout next week, we'll talk about it in the Facebook group and see if that's something people would want. We can definitely continue the conversation in the Facebook group. I'm so glad to be back with you guys. It has been a long month without you, but it is very restorative to me. I kind of need that downtime, or else I don't think about new things. I just get in the routine. So I kind of needed those 2 weeks to spend a lot of hammock time and think about what I want to do next. And I am thinking about a new spring workshop too, about letting go and clearing, both physically in your house and clearing mentally. So we'll talk about that too. Thank you, Katie. I love it. And I love doing these free ones. It's just fun to bring in new people. And I'm so happy for those of you new people who have stopped in. And we will do this again Tuesday. I don't know the date. What is it? The 9th, maybe? So for those of you who can make it, that would be wonderful. We'll do new readings. I'll find some new cards. I'll find some oracle cards we haven't used in a while. And love you guys. And I'll talk to you later. Good night.